Now let me tell you how the Torah talks about bringing up kids. So I want to start, it's beautiful. This is really, really beautiful. I want to tell you a chidah, which is for grandparents. When I said this chidah in my shir online, never in my life of any shir that I ever got did I get a reaction from Talmidei Chachamim and rabbis and teachers all over the world. It is impossible that you quoted the chidah correctly. So I had my girls all day long were sending copies and faxes and emails because no one could believe that the chidah wrote this. But it's a very important chidah, and anyone who wants to see it after the shir, I will show it to you. And the chidah is in next week's Parsha. In Parshat Vayeitzei, Yaakov goes to sleep and he has a dream. And the pasuk says the following: Hashem comes to him in the dream, and he says the following: Ani Hashem, I am God, Elokei Avraham Avicha, the God of Avraham your father, Elokei Yitzchak, and the God of Yitzchak. He calls Avraham Yaakov's father, and he leaves out the name father when he says Yitzchak. Yaakov's father was not Avraham. Yaakov's father was Yitzchak. So if you said Elokei Avraham Avicha and Elokei Yitzchak Avicha, okay, sometimes the grandfather is called the father. But specifically when God is talking to Yaakov, he says Avraham, your father, which he wasn't, he was his grandfather, and Yitzchak, and leaves out the father. It's a bomb question. What's going on over here? Zaydas and Babas, listen carefully to this chidah. And the chidah says the following: Tema, I wonder, Shekarol Ziknei Aviv, Hashem called his grandfather father, Ula Aviv Lekara Av, and to his own father he didn't call father? Nirali, Lefishi Yaakov, Haya B'chai Avraham, Shaya Isaac B'Torah Mitzvahs, V'Haya Mechavwa Yoseh. He lived 15 years, Yaakov, in the life of Avraham Avinu. Listen carefully, Zaydas and Babas. Umirayv Chiba, because Avraham loved his grandson Yaakov so much. Hayakarei Isai B'ni. Avraham used to call Yaakov, his grandson, my son. That was the relationship. The grandfather called his grandson, my son. Okay, so now we understand why Hashem said Avraham Avicha. But why did you leave out Yitzchak, that he was Yaakov's father? Very scary. Abba Yitzchak, Shehaya Oyev, Esav HaRasha Yosem Imenu. But Yaakov's father Yitzchak, who loved Esav the Rasha more than him, Loi Kara HaKadosh Baruch Hu Aviv. You're favoring one child over the other child. I will not call you his father. This is a mind-boggling chidah, but it's not his. He brings it down from a Rishon, from Rabbeinu Ephraim. It's not the chidahs. Just because you gave birth to a kid, you think Hashem considers you his father and mother? Says the chidah that God came to Yaakov in a dream and he left out the surname of Avicha by Yitzchak because Yitzchak showed more love to Esav than he showed to Yaakov. Why did God say this? Why am I repeating this chidah? Because God's making a statement to all of us. He made a statement to Yaakov, who was going to have 12 children, 12 shvatim. Don't favor one kid, and we know what happened with Yaakov. Don't favor one kid over the other. And if you don't show the love to that kid in God's world, that doesn't make you his parent. And a grandparent who treats his grandchild like it's his own child, in Hashem's world, you are like his parent. And I can tell you from 38 years of being a Rebbe, how many grandparents I know that saved their grandchildren's lives. That the children came from a dysfunctional family, but their grandparents was a safe place to go, and that's where they were brought up, and that's where they were showered with love, and that was their safety place. You don't know how much you could do for a grandchild. And as a parent, if you want to be considered by God as a parent, You have to shower your child with love. And you need to tell them that you love them. It's not a secret. You have to tell them. It's a Mishnah in Pirkei Avos. Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says, Chaviv, we're loved by Hashem because we are His children. Chaviva Yisera, the real love is, the extra love is that He told us that we're His children. I know I'm God's child. No, He told us that He's our children. He told us giving you $1 million and putting it in your bank account, you don't know about it, and you're a poor man, you're still a poor man. When I tell you that the money's in the bank account, that's when you become a rich man. When you say, I love my kid, until that kid knows that you love him, he's a poor man walking around without knowing that there's a parent that has all that love. The bank account's full. You forgot to tell him. There's a viral tape of mine that I spoke about that Hida Brut put across, where I told the true story of a man. I spoke in Florida, and a man came over to me afterwards, a very famous, wealthy Jew. Powerful, wealthy Jew, owns a lot of buildings. Very, very wealthy. And he came over, he said, Rabbi Wallerstein, I just happened to be in the back because I was waiting for Ma'ariv, and I heard your last story. You don't even know what you're talking about. He said, my mother was in the Holocaust. She had 8 kids and a husband. They killed them all. She came to America. She married my father. I'm her only child. And Wallerstein, she never said she loved me. She said, and when I got older, I asked my father, why doesn't mom ever say she loves me? And my father said, you have to understand, mom lost everybody. And she's so scared to get close to anybody because she thinks the Holocaust is going to come to America and she's going to lose you too. So she's protecting herself. But let me tell you, your mother loves you. You're her only child more than anything else in the world. He said, and I walked away and I felt better, but I didn't feel good. He said, Rabbi Wallerstein, 3 days before she died, she's in the hospital. I'm sitting next to her. She's in and she's out. She's in and she's out. And all of a sudden she says, Chaimo. She wakes up and says, Chaimo, come here. I want to tell you something. He said, I was like, oh my God, she's going to say it. She's going to say it. She's going to tell me that she loves me. And he sits down next to her and she opens her eyes and she says, I never could tell you this before, but I want to tell you one thing. He's like, here it comes. I know everything that you do. I am so proud that you're my son. And she died 3 days later, and never said the words, I love you. He said, Rabbi Wallerstein, you know who I am. I know who he is. He said, the biggest day of my life financially is I flipped 3 buildings in Manhattan. My company made $100 million. It was an unbelievable day. So Rabbi Wallerstein, it was nothing compared to hearing my mother tell me she's proud of me. That is my badge of honor. I am so happy that she said those words. She didn't say, I love you. It's okay. This guy doesn't need anything. He's an older man. And he's telling me that the greatest day, now when he got married, his kids are all married, he's got grandchildren, he's a multimillionaire, he gets covered, he gets respect, he gets everything. Nothing, it all means nothing. My mom told me she's proud of me. The whole world's proud of him. You need to tell your kids. But they know. Tell them anyway. Tell them they got money in the bank. Tell them they have love in the bank. Tell them your bank is full of love and caring. Don't say they know about it. They don't know about it. Say it. It's a badge of courage. It's a bulletproof vest. I came tonight to speak about a woman, Mark's mother. There was nothing in her life, nothing, but her kids. She did not leave me alone. I was his Rebbe. Every single day, she had another comment. I'm not going to tell you that we got along very well in the beginning. That woman was there every single day. Before I came out of my car, she's standing there. Why'd you do this? Why didn't you get more homework? Why'd you do this? Why'd you say this to Mark? Oh my God, she didn't stop. Because she loved her kids like nobody else. She was a mama bear. You mess with my kids, I will rip your head off. She's here listening to the shir, and she's going, that's right. And if I was there now, Rabbi Wallerstein, I have a couple of things to tell you too. Amazing, amazing. That's why 18 years later, he gets up here, 18 years later, talks about his mom and starts crying. 18 years? Because she invested all that love in her kids. So tonight, that's what I want to talk about. Because it's Eli Nishmas. And Bruce, who had more love in a man than Bruce? You have to share it. You have to tell them. No, my kid doesn't need it. Your kid needs it. But I didn't get it from my parents. Sorry. Sorry. I can't change that. But you could give it to your kids and you could give it to your grandchildren. It's a chidah. Avraham Avinu, Hashem says, is his father because he called him Bini. Because he spent 15 years with him. It's not a therapy book. Not a book you buy in Eichler's Art Scroll. It's a chidah on Chumash, on a bomb question. Read the pasuk. It doesn't call Yitzchak his father. 2. In Parshat Vayeitzei, listen to this. Parshat Vayeitzei, Hashem comes to Avraham Avinu. He has 2 kids, Yishmael, and we'll end with this and one more pshat in how to bring up kids. So Hashem comes to Avraham Avinu. He says, Kachna es bincha. I want you to take your son to the Akedah. Avraham looks up at Hashem and he says, Ezer ben, which son? I got 2 of them. I got Yishmael and I have Yitzchak. Amalai, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to him, as you read in the pasuk, Es Yechidcha, the special one. Amalai, Avraham Avinu says to Hashem, special one? I have a special one? Zeh Yachid Li'imo, V'zeh Yachid Li'imo. Each one is special to his mother. Yitzchak special to Sarah, and Yishmael is special to Hagar. I still don't know, which kid do you want me to take to the Akedah? Okay. Amalo, Hashem says to Avram, Asher Hafta, the one that you love, Avraham. You hear? Amalo, Avram says to Hashem, I don't know which one. Shnehem ani ohev. I love both of them. Amalo, Medrash Tanchuma, Hashem says to Avraham Avinu, Es asher hafta harbe. I know you love both your kids, but the one that you love more. Listen to Avraham Avinu. Listen to the man who called his grandson Beni. You have to know where it came from. Oh, the one I love more? Amalo, he says to Hashem, really? Love one more? I don't know what you're talking about. The chiyesh gvul b'mayayim? Is there like a gvul, a border in your love? Like you can't give them equal love? Like one has to have more than the other? Like what are you talking? Hashem, I don't even know what you're talking about. I love them both the most. Oh, Hashem said, I'm not getting anywhere. Amalo es Yitzchak. No matter how I'm going to describe your child, by you they're both equal. So finally, I have to, Yitzchak. That's how Abraham knew which one to take. That's his relationship with his 2 children. Ladies and gentlemen, Yishmael was not a good boy. Yishmael, talk about off the derech, he was off the wall. This was not a good boy, and Avraham Avinu is saying, so what? So what? So he's not a good boy, so that means I love him less? There are borders in my heart when it comes to my children? I don't love them equally because one is good and one is not?